Alright, so the original Predator movie is one of my favorite movies. My second favorite, actually. The Iron Tombstone with Kurt Russell. And honestly, Predator might be more entertaining all the way through, but once Tombstone gets going, it really gets going. So, whereas Predator's all action, but I'll go into that more later. Today is my kind of cluster review on the Predator franchise, excluding Alien vs. Predator, because I haven't seen those, and to be honest, I don't really have a strong desire to see those. But, while we're on the topic of Alien, I bought this Target the other day, and so that video will be coming. I haven't recorded it yet, I meant to. I also bought Ultimate Carnage, so I'll do a video on that. I can't record that till probably Sunday, because I'm at my grandparents' house right now, and Carnage just got delivered to my house. So, and I'm going home Saturday. So, but it doesn't matter, because it'll probably be up by maybe a couple weeks from now. Yeah, and I also did a video on a Jaws, an editorial about Jaws, that it's long, it's like 30 minutes, but I promise it's not like the Watchmen one, it's filled to the brim. It's not like the Watchmen one that's 30 minutes just because I go off on a tangent. It's filled to the brim, and I go into the article and I read parts of it. Anyway, it's, I think it's my favorite video I've done yet, so, check that out. Now that we're done with the begging section, I'm talking about Predator, which is why I opened up talking about Predator, and I'm going to be rating each of these movies. I might just do two, considering we're 2 minutes into the video, and I hate when I have a video that's like 15 to 30 minutes long. But, sorry, it's really cold in this house. But, I grade on a scale of 10 stars, and I do give half stars, quarter stars, whatever. I grade on a scale of 10 stars because when there's a movie I really don't like, 1 star out of 10 stars looks a lot worse than 1 star out of 5 stars. And that'll come into play later. Later on in this review, actually. So to start with the first Predator, definitely the best one, I'd give this movie 10 stars. There's not a single thing I don't like about this movie. And contrary to what a lot of my other reviews are, where I basically talk about something from memory, before Christmas break, the week before, we weren't doing a lot in school because it was the week before Christmas break, and our exams were only in certain classes, so I started watching movies. I watched Terminator, I watched Predator, watched Predator 2. So I just watched this, and Predator's a movie I could watch 2 days in a row. I could watch Predator right after watching Predator. It's just really good all the way through. Sorry, my hand is shaking just because, again, it's cold and I'm laying back in this recliner. But, I could definitely watch it one after another because, like I said before, it's packed all the way through with stuff. I really think you could take the Predator out of that movie and it would be a really good anthology episode of something. Like, if you just remove the last half, like, and just them going into the guerrilla camp, it would be great. It would still be great. But Predator, really cool. I like Predator more than Alien because, like I said, it's only comes in behind Tombstone. But I do not like the Predator design as much as the Alien design. It almost was way worse because they had a different costume and they ended up changing it. Thank God for that. But it is definitely a great movie. Arnie is really good in it. Jesse Ventura's character is definitely my favorite character, Blaine. He's got a minigun. And he's really good in this. I don't think he was in much else. Bill Duke, who plays, I don't even know the character's name, but I think he might be the only African American character in the movie. Possibly. I don't remember the character's name. He's absolutely great in this movie. Because he watches, and spoiler alert, this movie came out in, like, 87, I think. But, he sees Jesse Ventura die, or finds his body, or something. And so, he's, like, rattled. He plays a great... I wish he was in more. He's in a couple of other things. He's in Commando, which is also great, and also has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. But I wish he was in more in terms of action movies. I think I'd enjoy one of his drama movies. So, I definitely give that 10 stars. And I promise not every single one of these will last 3 minutes. So, Predator 2 definitely have a lot less to talk about. I think it is good. I'd probably give it 7 stars. And 10 stars is just amazing. 5 is fine. And 1 or below 1, which would only be like a quarter of a star. Because we'll get to that later. But I love that movie too. It's not as good as Predator, and I don't think it would be nearly as good as it is without Danny Glover in it. Like, I don't think he carries the movie necessarily, but he's extremely good in it. It's also got Gary Busey in it, which is a plus. It's got a neat concept because they reveal, like, they know that the Predator's here. They just can't risk a, like, space war because of it. So they've got a task force, and that's really neat, I think. The city setting's a cool change of pace for the franchise. I would like to see one go back into the jungle, and I'll actually do a video. I haven't yet, so I don't know when it'll come out. I have some note cards written down because I've been wanting to do a video about, like, my perfect Predator sequel. And for that, I would go back into the woods and the forest, just not, like, I'll talk about it in a later video. I can't do it, I'll have to record it in a week or so, because, again, I don't have the cards with me. But, so I do think it's really good. Wouldn't be as good without Danny Glover in it. But the other cast is really isn't bad there. So I just think Danny Glover definitely outshines all of them. Predators is one that I think is fine. I give it 5 to 6 stars. I'd probably give Predator 2 8 stars if I were to give Predators 6 stars. I thought it was fine. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm not I don't think profanity or anything really ruins a movie, but there's a lot of stuff, it felt like it was just in there because they're like, oh, we can put that in there, why not? That just didn't need to be in there. Like, this convict goes on about his misdeeds. You watch the movie to figure out what those were. And it was like, why? It's not very, I don't find it extremely funny. And, like, I normally would find that fun. I'm not a huge, I find that stuff entertaining, but it just felt like they're doing it because they could. I don't really like the lead guy in this. He just doesn't really, he's kind of bland, I guess. Cast isn't, but the cast isn't all that bad. I just don't really like them as much. It's got a neat twist. It's got a neat twist. Putting it on the Predator planet is neat, but I can't say I'm one for like diving into the Predator's technology and whatnot. Like, I think the ALF stuff is, I think, what they introduce in Predator 2 is cool, but I don't know if, like, I necessarily want to take a huge dive into that stuff. And it's not on the Predator's planet. It's on a different planet that the Predators used to hunt. And it's got multiple Predators in it, hence the S. And so I give that 5, maybe 6 stars. But also, I know people like my uncle loves it. So maybe it's just me with that one. I would recommend watching it. Next one, I would not recommend watching at all. And this is one of the reasons I grade on the 10-star scale. Because the worse I can make this movie look, the better. I absolutely cannot stand the Predator. The lead guy, I don't think is all that good. The only things that are good about it, I think, is Thomas Jane is good in it, and I just watched the Punisher movie with him. I've got a poster in my room from it, from before I watched it. But he's good in it. There's some cool death scenes, and I kind of don't want to spoil them, just because, like, they're the only reasons you should watch the movie. Actually, I will, just so you don't watch the movie. It was free on YouTube TV. I think Predator comes on TV, I think those come on TV fairly normally, by the way. There's one where the Ultimate Predator, the CGI, and again, like, I wouldn't be as mad at this if it, one, weren't a long-running franchise that people love. 2, if it didn't come out in 2018, and 3, there's no 3, 1 and 2 though, because it just doesn't look right to me, and I really don't like CGI. I think, and that's another point I'll make in my Perfect Predator sequel, the more you use practical effects, the better. And obviously, you can screw up with practical effects, but I think it's easier to make something look better. Because I think a good team with practical effects will end up having a better looking product than a good team that's good with CGI using CGI. I just think practical looks better. I think it's cooler too, especially for the gore. Like the bright red, like blood splatter, it's neat, but it just doesn't look right. The Ultimate Predator is pretty cool, and it is a neat idea. It reminds me of the dude from G.I. Joe. That's the... God dang. I don't know why I can't remember his name. But Serpentor. And they go around and they collect, like, DNA from Napoleon Bonaparte and stuff like that. But they're just taking the top species, the best of their species, their blood, and putting it into one thing. I don't really like the Predadogs. I just don't. I mean, and they never really, because, like, at some point, there's a Predadog that helps them, but, like, I don't think they really ever explain it. The 2 cool kills is there's one where the Ultimate Predator has, they have this wrist thing, and it's got, like, a grappling hook. And so he shoots it across this thing into a wall, and these guys at the army base are driving, and it takes off their windshield, like the top of their car, and their heads at the neck, and that was neat. And then there's another where he's, like, in the basement of a house or something, or on the first floor, and they're on the second floor or the ground floor, I can't remember. And he sticks his, like, the razor thing that's on their wrists up through the floorboards and through a guy. It's neat. But, that and Thomas Jane are all I really like about this movie. Again, I don't too much care for giving everything a suit of armor, which they have, like, this Predator suit of armor. I just think it doesn't look all that cool, and, like, I don't think it's a neat idea either. Like, I don't get that premise with having a mechanical version of everything. Mechagodzilla's cool, Iron Man's cool, but I just don't think that needs to be a thing anymore. A big trope as it is. But, I think that's all I've got to say about that one. And, it's 16 minutes long, but I'll go ahead and throw it in there. Predator Hunting Grounds, I went in expecting it to be okay game. I'll have fun with it, because I'm not too hypercritical about this. So, oh, by the way, I would give the Predator a half-star rating. The 2 kills constitute for, like, 2/4 of that. Like, 1/4 of that, and then Thomas Jane contributes another 1/4 of that. Oh, there's actually 3 kills. There's one where they're standing on the Predator spaceship, and the shield things come up, and they're apparently, like, a real barrier sort of thing. So it cuts the guy off at the legs and he slips off. But, you know, like, I'd give it half of whatever half is for the kills, and then another half-star for Thomas Jane, just because I like him. He's definitely not an actor. I don't think he's an actor that really can bring up a movie whole thing like Tommy Lee Jones or something. Like, actors like that who, if they're in something, they automatically elevate the movie, but he was really good in this. Anyway, like I was saying, Predator Hunting Grounds, I expected not to be that great, because I heard it wasn't. It is one of my favorite FPS games. It was like $10 at Target. I got it for Christmas, but it's $10 at Target near me. It's like $30 online. I think it's worth it. It's got a 30-second wait if you want to be the fire team, which is like the army guys that go in. It's like a 6-minute wait for Predator, and I'm not particularly good at it, so I might do like 5 fire team matches and then a Predator match and then rinse and repeat. But I do think it's worth getting, though, even if the servers aren't, you know, completely loaded. I find it really fun. The only glitches I had with it was sometimes textures won't load in, but, I mean, even, like, that happened at first, but even now, I don't really get that a lot. So, I would definitely pick up that game if you see it. I wouldn't get it for $60, maybe $30, but definitely if you see it for $10. So, and, like, the bots could be a little harder, I guess, but that's about all the complaining I have to do for that game. So, anyway, that's my review on the Predator franchise. If you want more movie, I'm doing figure reviews, like I'm fixing to record this figure review. That'll go up maybe even before this video. But, so you can check out SouthAtlantaWrestling.com. There's articles on there for wrestling, food reviews, movie reviews, video game reviews, and figure reviews. So anyway, I'll have some new stuff coming out. I'm gonna cut this video about 30 seconds short of 20 minutes. Goodbye.